Trump or Biden? I inwardly groaned as this question was posed to me by a fellow student of an educational group I attend weekly. What exactly do you mean? I asked, attempting to stall the question in order to come up with an answer that was satisfactory and yet would not get me into trouble with the student. Just who do you prefer? Was the reply. Well, I said slowly, I'm not exactly sure. I don't think I've done enough research on the both of them to be able to give you an educated answer. Okay, but you've got to know something of the both of them, so just who do you choose? My peer demanded, exasperated. I honestly don't remember how I escaped answering this controversial question amid the 2020 presidential election, but I do remember the relief I felt after the student walked away from me without obtaining my answer. Oh, that was a close call with controversy. Fast forward almost a year and a half. I was out with a group of friends. We were talking about life, all the normal things. Someone mentioned something nerdy they'd done, and boom. That was all that was needed to start us off on, well, they're the biggest nerd of them all. Did you see what they did last week? They're so rude. It's no wonder no one likes them. I sat there and I listened to my friends go on and on about the absolute nerdiness of this particular kid. Now, I didn't entirely disagree with them. I've known this person to be rude and insensitive and, yes, nerdy. I found myself even nodding along to a few of the things they were saying. After all, they were true, right? However, behind all these excuses I was making, I knew that no matter what this person had done to me or anyone else, their actions did not constitute the gossip and dirt we were dishing out behind their back. No. And I thought about bringing that up to my friends. Yeah, I thought about it for a really long time. I kept thinking about it until I noticed the topic of conversation had changed. And I hadn't said anything besides the occasional agreement. Oh, I felt so mean. Who does that? Not the person that I want to be. Alrighty, now let's play a game called Find the Similarities Between These Two Scenarios. But there is a catch. We have to find the one that is the reason for the speech's existence. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Similarity number 1. In both of these stories, I was with friends. No, not that. Okay, similarity number 2. In both of these stories, I was not at home. Still nope. Okay, similarity number 3. In both of these stories, I had an opinion, but I didn't share it. Oh yes, that's the one. You see, in both of these circumstances, I had something to say, but I didn't say it. In fact, I tried every trick in the book to get myself out of these sticky, nearly controversial moments. But now for the big game show prize. I've created a cycle, something that shows one method of handling a presented belief or thought, whether it be expressed to you or by you. And I think it may help us understand a little bit more about these two experiences and maybe some that you face in your own life. And I'm presenting it to all of you for being such great participants. All right, here it is. Step 1, you have a belief or thought. Step 2, you share that belief or thought. Step 3, someone disagrees. Step 4, you are either unwilling to admit that you were wrong or unwilling to allow others to believe differently than you. And step 5, or the result, there is a feeling of contention. Now, this cycle is great and all, but it's obviously not something any of us would want to follow through to the end. So, what's its exact purpose? Well, it does explain a few things, but you see, it matters more where you choose to get off the cycle. You could choose to get off just after step 1. In both of these experiences I've shared, that's exactly what I did. First, I had a belief or thought. Second, nothing. I didn't share what I was thinking because I was so worried and nervous about this 5th step or result of contention. Although you may try to avoid the cycle in this way, imagine going throughout your entire life never sharing whether you prefer a cheeseburger or a salad. or that you believe kindness is a valuable characteristic, or that you love your family. Those are all opinions, and never sharing them would be virtually impossible. Therefore, stepping off the cycle just after step 1 is not ideal. The next option, stepping off the cycle just after step 2 and before step 3. You've shared your belief or thought, but you refuse to let others disagree with you. To illustrate this, let me share a story a teacher of mine once shared with me. There was a girl, still living in her parents' home, who began to make choices that the parents considered to be wrong. She began smoking, drinking, wearing revealing clothing, and using offensive language, and so on. Now, this girl's parents tried to talk to her over and over again about the choices she was making. They tried to guide her back to the path that they, as her parents, hoped that she would be able to live on, a path of love and righteousness with high standards. But this girl would have none of it. She would not listen to a thing they said and went into fits every time they brought it up. These parents, in refusing to accept their daughter's beliefs, were in denial of step 3. They did not allow her to disagree with them. I think that we can agree that this continued fighting and tension is not the most desirable result. So let's continue with this cycle for now. Next option, stepping off the cycle just after step 3, you shared your belief or thought, and before step 4, you are either unwilling to allow others to disagree with you or unwilling to admit that you were wrong. In order to exemplify this, let me finish my story from earlier. These parents eventually came to a crossroads. They could choose either to continue fighting with their daughter and plod through her hatred for them, or they could choose to love her, no matter what choices she made, and realize that sometimes family is more important than being right. These brave parents mended their relationship with their daughter. Now, she did not correct her behaviors, and so they maintained personal boundaries, but they chose humility in accepting their daughter's worth as a person. Now, this is what this cycle is all about. I cannot think of a greater tragedy than someone being estranged from their family, and yet, by choosing humility and accepting their daughter as a person and loving her no matter the choices she made, these parents were able to avoid that. That being said, I do want to make it clear that following the cycle in this way does not guarantee the same outcome. A relationship is two-sided. You can't guarantee the other person's actions towards you, no matter how much peace and love you choose to have towards them. However, you can guarantee how you feel. Now, if you'd rather feel angry and contentious for the rest of your life, then there's no use in you listening to my speech right now. But if you'd like to feel peace and love and joy for people, no matter their religion, political stance, identity, or actions, I assure you, humility is the way to achieve that. Branching off from our original cycle at this point is so momentous, it seems that it warrants a cycle of its own. Maybe one that goes something like this. Step 1, you have a belief or thought. Step 2, you share the belief or thought. Step 3, someone disagrees. Step 4, you are either willing to admit that you were wrong or willing to allow others to disagree with you. And step 5, there is a feeling of camaraderie and love. Do you see the difference here? We make space for others' opinions, therefore allowing us to share ours more freely, without this fear of contention. Much like fences in a zoo keeping the animals in and you out. You are restricted from going inside those cages, but you are in no danger of being hurt or killed, which ultimately creates more freedom. When we choose humility in dealing with people's opinions, we are able to more freely express our own because we are not burdened with anxiety about potential hatred. And no, I won't be offended if you disagree with me on that. Now, choosing to step off our original cycle at this point in your own life may not change the whole world, but maybe you'll be able to express more freely what you believe in, whether you're for Trump or Biden. Maybe you'll be able to help some friends make some better choices, and in turn defend someone you care about, or maybe even keep a family together. Thank you.